Hi everyone, my name is Princess Brown and I am a graduating senior at North Carolina Central University. And this portfolio project final presentation is for psychology as a profession. This is basically to display and talk about my professional portfolio that I was able to build based off of the curriculum that I learned in the online course. During this online course, we were basically we were able to basically touch bases on and learn more about what we need to do in order to be successful within our field of psychology, and we were able to gain skills and receive some criteria that will help us to focus on the specific field of psychology that we wanted to do, whether it be applied or research psychology. And we were also able to gain some understanding of the steps that we may need to take in order to be successful in the field of psychology that we want to go in. So, what I'm going to be doing today is I'm going to talk a little bit about the content that I included inside of my portfolio. So, first, I'm going to begin with my personal statement. And vaguely, in my personal statement, I talked about how psychology is such a broad subject. So oftentimes when we think of psychology, there are many different spectrums that we can take psychology in, and that's something that really helped me to pick psychology as my major because I came in as a business major, then I switched over to theater, and then finally I decided that psychology was for me because I always like to talk to people, give people advice, and counsel other people. So I said, hey, why not give psychology a shot? So a lot of people believe that, studying psychology is risky because there aren't a lot of job fields. But I beg to differ because I feel like the more that I learn about psychology, I learn to understand that psychology is such a broad subject that every aspect of life involves some type of psychology, whether it be understanding interpersonal skills or communication and how to work with different types of people within, from different backgrounds, if you're working for different companies or what have you, or even if you study certain fields, psychology and mental health plays a role in some extent. So that is really what captured my attention with psychology. And this natural urge kind of built to me having a passion for wanting to mentor other people. Me coming from Washington, D.C., and growing up in a single parent household, and knowing what it feels like to not really have those financial resources in the household, but still using that as a tool to motivate myself in order to gain scholarships, in order to achieve higher education, and being an out of state student and knowing what it feels like to have those different struggles. I want to basically be that motivation for other students when they are facing certain adversities that may affect their dreams or their visions that they have for themselves. So that's why I want to study psychology because I feel like me having a better understanding of how the human mind works and how certain things um, affect the human mind and affect how we grow and we develop and how we start to interact with other people, that will help me um, build my mentoring program, and that will help me gain a wide understanding of different kinds of people, and I won't be secluded to contributing to one demographic of people. So I would definitely say that there are like three main fields of psychology that I could go into. Definitely developmental or adolescent, what have you, because it's basically the study of how, your parental structure, your environment, your household environment, how all those things basically play a role in um, your mood and your personality and certain character traits about you that you develop when you're becoming an emergent adult, and how that may affect you, and how there may be people or siblings that grow up in the same household, but because sometimes of the genetic makeup, there are going to be two totally different outcomes based off of that genetic makeup and their personality traits. Also, I can go into educational or community psychology because both of those could be used to help me to give me tools in order to help push um, youth into the importance of achieving education. One, two, community psychology is really, really hands on. in terms of working inside the community and trying to make a difference. And that's something that's my main goal that I want to do with creating my mentoring program. And studying psychology is not about me, right? It's about um, other people and what I can do for them and how I can serve them and how I can better understand them. Also, I would definitely say that moving forward with my undergraduate degree in psychology, I want to go to graduate school and study one of those fields of psychology in order to keep sharpening my iron and to keep giving me better understanding of people, because there are so many different ways that you can view people and view life and have a perspective of life. And why do people do this, why do they walk like this, why do they develop certain urges, or why do they become addicted to drugs, or why do people talk the way that they talk, or why they're introverts and extroverts. And so there are so many questions that can go um, when we talk about people and why they develop the things that they develop. So I definitely think that furthering my education past undergraduate will help me to not only gain in-class experience, but trying to get publications done, doing research experiments, and also doing research papers will give me a lot of hands-on experience within my field, so that not only am I reading books and obtaining knowledge, but I'm taking the knowledge that I'm obtaining and I'm applying it to what I'm doing. So that way it's using my physical and my mental and within psychology and the field as a whole. Next, I wanted to move on to my resume. So my resume, I would say, I really like my resume. I think that it would stand out because as a student at North Carolina Central University, I definitely was big on academics, but I also was big on participating in different things while I was in undergraduate, such as I was a student staff tutor for the university. So I was paid to tutor other students, but I was also a resident assistant. So I was in charge of a freshman dorm and a sophomore dorm. So I know how to overcome a lot of different situations because of my experience with being a resident assistant and working for the university. I had an internship also while I was in undergraduate as well, working at a charter school back home in DC, and I was able to basically see the administrative side of a school system, and I was able to actually meet a lot of kids and work hands-on with them and counsel them and talk to them. Even though I wasn't certified in it, it showed me what my passion was, because I was able to work with those children without a certification, but I still saw a difference in them. And so that helped me to gain better understanding of myself, because I knew, kids and working with kids and helping them in any aspect, even if I am starting off in the administrative side, but still being in that environment, giving me the opportunity to touch a life or be a difference, or to be the new faces they've never seen before that's doing something different and positive. It still helped to drive me um, and encourage me, which is what I think ultimately it's all about. So I definitely feel like my resume is competitive. And one thing, when I did look at other people's resumes who were mentors, before they opened their own businesses, they worked for other businesses that were already established, such as counseling or within school systems, or even if it was daycares or camps, just something that gave them basically hands-on experience working with children, so that they would have that understanding with them, so that when they did build their own business, it wasn't like they were just jumping out there with no type of knowledge or prior knowledge or experience. So I will also talk about the course curriculum, and me being a graduated senior, I have a better understanding of the purpose of the course curriculum. Excuse me. So it's basically freshman and sophomore year. It's kind of like you're still getting your feet wet. You're still trying to understand, what you want your major to be. What do you want to do? So you're really just taking like your core English, math, college prep, freshman seminar, as you would have it, history, health, things like that. And then I would say around second semester, sophomore year, or first semester, junior year is when you really get into your major. And so you're taking different classes like advanced psychology, adolescent psychology, abnormal psychology, experimental psychology, um, and you're taking all these classes not for no reason, but it's for your benefit because everything that you're taking in these classes are giving you a better understanding of the field as a whole. So yes, you may have a natural tenacity, and yes, you may feel like you have a natural gift to work with people, but that goes to waste if you don't have the book knowledge or the understanding or the terminology that you may need to know in order to prepare for graduate school, because psychology is one of those fields where, the more successful you become is when you continue your education. So you can't really just stop at undergraduate. So I feel like it's definitely important to make academics a number one, priority um, while in undergraduate beginning off, because we have to really take note of all the things that we're learning, because I feel like the psychology curriculum specifically is everything connects. So it's like connecting the dots from one class to the next class. So like you're taking a prerequisite for one course and then you're moving on to the next course, because what you learned in that previous course prepared you for what you're learning in the next course, and so on. And I feel like one thing about psychology, a lot of the fields of psychology involve research, but also a lot of fields are applied psychology. So you take what you learn and you're able to apply it directly in a situation. Even with taking like intro to psychological stats, you're able to take those numbers, move forward in another class and learn, okay, in experimental psychology, you can take what you learn in stat and apply it to experimental psychology within an experiment, and even type up a paper and even conduct a whole experiment based off of statistics. So that's why I say that within the curriculum, within the curriculum of psychology as a whole, everything is really, one after the other. It's kind of a big domino effect. Also, what I'm going to be speaking about is I kind of talk vaguely about the courses that are needed, such as, adolescent, abnormal, health psychology, cognition, intro to stat, measurement. And like I said, one is after the other. So like abnormal psych is about mental disorders and like mood disorders, personality disorders, and all those different things. And adolescent is more about, how we develop and emerge into adulthood. And then we have experimental psychology, which teaches us how to write, how to conduct an experiment on our own, and type of a research paper about it. Statistics is more with math and how to collect data with the numbers, and how do we break down certain data to understand. And measurement is a feed off of the statistics as well. So also I would like to talk about my personal academic and professional goals. So like I said, I really do aspire to open my own mentoring program, and I also want to have my PhD um, in psychology as well. Primarily developmental psychology is my favorite. When I was in undergrad, well, I'm still in undergrad, but while being in undergrad, adolescent psychology has been my favorite psychology course that I've taken as a whole. So moving forward, I would love to continue my education in developmental slash adolescent psychology. And also, I want to use basically my personal testimony with education and having scholarships and not having loans and not being in debt and able to endure in another state away from my family, and overcome certain personal obstacles in order to be successful. I want to use that specific story because I feel like someone helped me, so I want to be help to somebody. Because of somebody else, because somebody else was able to sow a seed inside of me and to help me and to give me the resources, I want to be that for someone else. So that's why I say like I want to have my own business in terms of the mentoring program, because I just think that it's very important that it's not that we just cross off goals off our list, but it's completely redundant if we cross off goals off our list but we don't contribute something to the community, but we don't help someone else. We have someone help us and give us their resources, but we can't be that resource to other people. I think that that's not really how it works. I think how to keep the cycle going so that when it's my kids' turn, they will have someone to help them, is that we continue to sow seeds inside of people, because seeds were sown inside of us. And that could just be it. So I feel like my contribution and my purpose is somewhere solely around helping other people